Well, Kenny, here we are. It's mid-January 2012. The filing period for the 11th District Congress does not take place for another month or so. But I understand you're thinking about running. Got some questions for you. But before I ask you about the 2012 run, I got to go back to the 2010 run. Tell me, what lessons did you learn in the 2010 congressional race?
Well, first of all, I am running, Richard. I am going to run for the 2012 primaries. Second of all, in the 2010, what I found out is that when you're a candidate, you've got to not only go out there and represent the people, you've got to make sure that the people are understanding what you need to say. But the big thing I learned is saying what you mean and mean what you say. You know, in the last primary we had, I think there was 6 to 7 candidates running. And while all of them were very, very fine men, good people of character, they really were. But when the primary was over, it seemed like all the conservatives went home, all the Republicans went home because maybe they didn't win the primary. I don't know what it was. Maybe they said that they were voting and that's what they considered the word support was. Jeff Miller was our primary nominee, and to this day I have a great deal of respect for Jeff Miller, for Tamara and Beck. That's a fine, fine family out of Hendersonville. There's not much of a better family, as far as I'm concerned, that I've ever met, especially as a candidate running. He was a man of integrity and character, as was I. But we were asked on many occasions, will we support whomever the nominee is? People forget sometimes, Richard, about the nominee. The nominee is the people's choice. It's not the person that you think should win, it's the people's choice. Well, Jeff Miller happened to be that choice, and I went and I worked for him. I supported him. In fact, the counties that I worked in far western North Carolina, he took every one of them. Why? Because my whole goal was to still defeat Heath Shuler. Now, I thought I was the best candidate, but as a candidate, you should always think you're the best one that's running. So yes, sir, I am running this time.
Well, here we are with Heath Shuler being in office for 6 years. What's going on with Heath Shuler that's prompted you to make a rerun to get him out of office? Is he not doing the people's work?
Well, it's called leadership and character, Richard. You know, when people talk about our deficit, we've got a $15 trillion deficit. It's fixing to go over 16.2 if they get the new bill passed to sit up here and extend to get more money into the government coffers. But the problem we're having is the deficit of character and the deficit of leadership. Leadership means this. Heath Shuler was part of what we call the Blue Dog Democrat. He goes around telling everybody, I'm a Blue Dog Democrat. That's what he tells everybody. I'm a conservative Democrat. Well, let me just tell you something what I know about leadership. Hey, we'd have had 6 more votes on the health care, part of it which comes from the Blue Dog Democrats. Heath Shuler could have actually said, I stopped the health care bill, but he didn't. He voted against it, but the people that he was supposedly voted for it. Had Heath Shuler got just 8 more votes from the the Blue Dog Democrats for the stimulus bill, the very first bill, guess what? It would have never gone through. Leadership is not just the way you vote. It's the way you get other people to vote the right way. I don't believe he's a leader. I don't think he calls people. I know he does not return phone calls, and I am one of his constituents. He just happens to be the person I will not vote for again, and I will beat if I run against him.
Why is it so important this time around to elect a Republican conservative in the Western North Carolina district based on the actions of the current president?
Well, you just answered your own question, the actions of the current president. That's why it's so important. You know, we've got 3 equal branches of government. And if Kenny West would have been the representative of the 11th district this time, when our president, Barack Obama, had got up there and made the statement like he made right before Christmas, I will not wait for the Congress anymore. I'm going to act without him. Kenny West would have been on the TV just 2 hours later with at least 40 representatives behind him saying, Mr. President, while I acknowledge you're the President of the United States, you're not the dictator of the United States. This is not a monarchy. There are 3 equal branches of government, and I participate in one of them. and you will not do this on my watch. You have to run things through the Congress. We've got no Republican up there with that kind of moxie or enough leadership up there to get up there and make this kind of statement. We have got to get passion and character and to understand the constitutional principles of this great country, or this great country will never be able to put the word great in front of it again.
When someone asks you, or they'll say and make a comment to the effect is, well, we'll elect you, Kenny West, but you'll change when you get up there. Or you'll start taking PAC money to a certain amount of money where it will persuade you to change your views instead of the campaign promises. How do you respond to that?
Well, you know, when I hear people talk about that, I used to have a thing. I used to be a regional vice president for a company called PCA. They're no longer in business. At one time, they were the largest photography company in the United States. But I had a thing called the gripe list that sat on my desk. And when somebody come in there and wanted to talk to me and gripe about somebody else or want me to do something against somebody else, I said, sign your name, let's get that person in here, we'll talk about it. I am going to have a list in my office. And if any lobbyist or any person that wants to form a PAC that wants me to come in there and do something that are against our principles, they're going to sign their name and they're going to write down what they want me to do. And then what I have found out, Richard, that when you write something down, you better believe in what you're writing down, and you're going to find out a lot of people up there don't want to do it in the open. These people are going to understand that when they deal with me, I wasn't sent up there to represent a PAC. I was not sent up there to represent a lobbyist. I was sent up there to represent the people of the 11th District and the Constitution of the United States, and these people will be outed. Will be outed if they ever come to me and want me to do something that I feel like is not representative of the people of this district.
Let's talk about some issues that really affect the citizens here in West North Carolina. Number one, jobs. Okay, that definitely is a concern because there's lack of jobs, lack of good paying jobs. Number two, cost of energy. That is a major problem when someone's making minimum wage and they're having to pay 30% of their income to get back and forth to work. And the last one is just the values of being an American. And I'll let you wrap it up with that.
Well, the first one is jobs. We all know that there's only two ways of getting money into the federal government. Really one, but there's two ways that the federal government here recently wants to tell you there are. They're using the Federal Reserve by printing money. The way you get money into the coffers is the more people that work. Is the Ronald Reagan approach. It's called the trickle down. When you sit up here and invest money and start companies, more people with companies sit up here and have more people working for them. More people working, pay taxes. Therefore, people are off the rolls of government, then all of a sudden they're on rolls. How do we get those doing that? We have got to lower the tax burden on the people of substance, on the corporations. We've got to lower the capital gains. We've got to lower the corporate tax rate of this country right here. I'll submit to you, I've got a position statement that says we're going to lower corporate tax. I'd like to lower them to 10%. We need to lower the capital gains to 10%. We've got to do away with the death tax. Why? Because this is money that's already been taxed. We've got to allow the resolute of the people, the attitude of business to sit up here and say, this country, as we heard Rick Perry say, is open for business. This country did not become great because we were taxed too much. We became great because we had free enterprise. That's what our Constitution stands for. When you talk about energy, there's one way that I know of that you put money back in people's pockets. The very first thing I do, and it's part of my 100 days, I want to be the 100-day Congress that sits up here and rolls back regulations to the year 2005. Why? Because that's before Barney Frank took over the banking industry committee chair. Number two, we need to sit up here and cut all these taxes, both capital gains, corporate tax, and the death tax. And number three, I will write a bill, and that bill will go before the president to sit up here and allow every state, every in the Gulf to sit up here and drill for oil, coal share, a nuclear energy. We've not had a nuclear power plant been built in over 27 years in this great country. Never been built. When we do that, Richard, think about this. I call it a net gain for people that automatically puts money in their pocket. What happens is this. Once the world finds out that the United States is drilling again, gas prices will drop. And when they drop, it's automatically, instead of paying that extra $45 to $100 a week you're paying right now for gas, that's after-tax money. All of a sudden that $45 to $100 gets put right back in your pocket. It goes into the economy. People start going out to eat. The people at this restaurant that we were just at can sit up here and you have more people eating here, and so therefore they hire more employees. It's called free enterprise. It's called supply side economics. Ronald Reagan understood it. We've all understood it. We got away from it. This country is great because of who we are. It's great, Richard, because of the people. There is not another people in this world that's got the privileges that we had, that our founding fathers fought and died for. Now it's time for Phillip and Emily, who are my children's daddy, to get up there and fight for this country once again. Because I want them to see, when I leave this country, they're my legacy. They're mine and my wife's legacy. I want them to see, more than anything else, that this country is the country that they can be proud of again. That they can sit up there if they want to invest in this country because they have a dream. They have a vision. They have a responsibility. They can have freedoms right now that's being taken away from us left and right. They're not gone. But with resolution, with determination, through perseverance, we can change this. I believe the best days are in front of us, but it's going to take leadership and men of character to change this. That's why I'm wanting every one of y'all to vote for me. My name's Kenny West, and I will support you, and I will defend your right as an American.
And what's your website information, Kenny?
My website information is www.kennywest4congress, that's F-O-R, for Congress.com. You can go on there, or you can reach me at my email address at kennywest4congress@gmail.com.
Thank you for your time, Kenny.
Thank you.